fortune favors the bold, but you also need the right time, the right opportunity, and the boldness to step forward to grab it. My first job was actually an accident. I was studying economics in the Netherlands, and a good friend of mine asked, do you want to write a bid for like 20 computers for this training center for an Austrian software company? And so I did, and I jokingly said, do you have a job? So literally my very first full-time job 25 years ago is the job I'm still in. And so started with them in 99 in Germany, and then January 2000, I started in New York. I saw that hop as a way to make a name for me, to create what these days you would call a brand, something you stand for. The balance in New York was work. I was the first guy over for the company. I was green behind the ears or wet behind the ears. I had a lot to prove, so I worked as many hours as it took. So I never knew that I was missing the live component. First year was pretty much alone in the office and was in Colorado at least once a month in addition to all the other travel. And so in the end, in 2005, I was like, okay, let's do a move. There's nothing keeping me in New York. And in 2006, I joined a training group that was called Fast Forward, headed by Scott Fiegelman. And then that's also the group that Mark Lur had that was doing its very first training for an Ironman. So that's where that path intersected a little bit. Finding that community initially with golf, then with running, I think that created that life part of the balance. And it helps me to, when I then turn that work side off, to really say, okay, now I'm going to enjoy first life and now try. And that's really, I think, part of being happy is you need to figure out that balance. You have to take a moment to recharge the batteries. And try training is a nick, right? Because even if you get an easy ride, it's still time that doesn't really recharge the battery. It drains it more. So I was pretty clear with the goal being Kona, that somewhere earlier in the year, which was now, so between New Zealand and Boulder, I wanted a week where training becomes optional. And so we ended up in Costa Rica renting a house. We had a pool, but behind the development were hiking trails with like 1,000 feet elevation change in like a loop. So we still, Ezra and I would still go for walks, but it was time where we would do non-triathlon specific stuff. We went to a night market that had food and arts and craft. Some of that is just good for the soul. Yes, selfish, but maybe not, because when I use it, it's maybe like me time. For me, the first 9 years in the US, I was without Ezra. So I learned how to run my life a certain way. So did Ezra. Because of these first 9 years, it is still important that we take me time. And I think that's one of those things when you become a team, two or many people, right? Because, and let's be honest, Ironman takes a village of sorts. To have certain parts that you do because it's important for you, because at the end of the day on race day, it's just you. And there's other parts where it's an us team thing. I think it's important to say, you know what, at certain points, I just have to take that moment for me, and whether that's a walk, whether that is gardening, you know, all of those are things that I think serve the same purpose. They let your brain come to rest. Legacy athletes get one shot at Kona, and I want to do the best because, again, there's a product to be delivered at some point in the afternoon, early or late evening, and I want it to be as good as I can do it over the day.